In this lesson, we're going to be looking at some applications of polynomial functions. And first off here, it says we can evaluate a polynomial function for a given value of x when it is given as a table of values, graph, or equation. The y-intercept of any function is determined when x equals 0. So these are just some of the things you may need to remember when you are solving some of your word problems involving polynomial functions. So if you are asked to determine the value of your function when x takes a particular value, I'm going to show you how to do that depending on how your function is presented. So if the function is presented as an equation, and you say have to find the value of that function when x is -1, then you would do that simply by replacing x in your equation with -1. So here we would have y equals -1 to the exponent 4 minus 2 times -1 cubed plus -1 minus 3. -1 to the exponent 4 is 1. Then we would have minus 2 times, now -1 cubed is still -1. We can simplify our plus -1 to minus -1, and then minus 3. So that becomes 1 plus 2 minus 1 minus 3, which equals -1. So when x equals -1 in this particular function, y also equals -1. If you have a table of values and the x value that you're interested in is part of the table, which it is in this case, then you can just read your y value from the table. So in this particular case, we can see that when x equals -1, y equals -3. And from a graph, when x equals -1, we look to the graph to see what y equals, and we can see from the graph that when x equals -1, y equals 2. Okay, so nothing too difficult there. And the next example involves the volume of a cylinder. It says determine the function that models the volume of a cylinder whose height is double its radius. Now let's just recall the formula for volume of a cylinder. It may be a while since you've seen that. So V equals pi r squared, so the area of the base, times height. Now in that formula, if the height is double its radius, then let's replace h, with 2r in your formula. So then it will be V equals pi times r squared times 2r, and we can simplify that to V equals 2 pi r cubed. And then if we're asked to find the volume when the radius is 5, we'll use our new formula and just replace the r in the equation with 5. Don't forget to apply the exponent before multiplying, so it'll be 2 times pi times 125, which is approximately 785.4. Sorry, that should be 785. And your units would be centimeters cubed for volume. Okay, and that concludes this short lesson.